Welcome to the Bad Dog Comedy TV YouTube channel. It's live comedy on YouTube. And tonight we're watching Nostalgique, a podcast from the Sonar Network. And now please go wild in the comments for the hosts of Nostalgique, Abba Emequando, and Ben Sosa Wright, and everyone's favorite producer, Aiden O'Loughlin.
Oh my god! I fully forgot to unmute myself, and so did Abba.
Me too. We all had that minute of panic, but we're here. I can't believe it.
What a time to be alive.
Hi.
I'm not gonna pretend. I just can't pretend like it's not Abba's birthday anymore. It's like the couple seconds we're not talking about it are just excruciating.
Honestly, this is what I want to say about my birthday. This has been the best birthday I've ever had in my entire life. God. Truthfully, the best birthday I've ever had in my entire life. I am so grateful to all my friends who like showed up for me throughout the entire year today. Physically, listener, let it be known, Aiden O'Loughlin literally worked all day, ran to my home just to see my face. Before, he had sent me an e-transfer prior also, right?
You gotta show up with a gift.
So he's already going to hell for that, for sending me money again. But then he showed up truly 15 minutes before the show started. And was like, okay, I'm gonna run and I'm gonna make it back in time. And I was like, there's no way he's gonna make it back in time. And yet
he did.
He did. And I love you.
With a minute to spare.
And
I'll say this: only a gay person could have done that.
Because we love to walk and we fast walk. We fast.
Move.
Yeah.
I will say I am a gay person who loves to fast walk, but when someone like walks fast by me, like and kind of like nudges me, I'm like, oh, who do they think they are?
Yeah.
But I
and then it's a foot race.
And then it's a foot race. And then it's like, may the best gay win. And whoever loses becomes straight. And that's how straight people are made.
And that's tea.
And that's tea. Oh my god. I was just going to say, because it's your birthday, Abba, I think Aiden and I each get to name our favorite Abba memory that we have.
Oh my God. I'm so scared.
And I think I'll have to begin.
Okay.
My favorite Abba memory is the day she hit me with her car.
Fuck, you hit me.
And when
I don't have a car.
hit me with her car, we became bonded that day. Our spirits, our souls became intertwined when that steel hit my body.
You fucking this.
our
I
soul
did not
did
hit you.
And I have to give a shout out to Brendan Ash Mohammed, who had
Please.
the ingenious idea. We got Abba an ice cream cake, and Brandon had the perfect idea to print, or not print, but like whatever they do, get an image on the ice cream cake of Brandy herself committing vehicular
manslaughter. And there's a picture of me next to it as a child riding a bike.
Riding like a little kid bicycle, and the caption is "Happy 25th" and hit and run.
It was fucking wild.
God.
It was so mad.
And the ice cream cake.
Oh, thank you, Michael.
Oh my God,
Michael and his kids wishing
And his kids.
Abba
It's like,
happy
put the lawyers
birthday.
on the line.
Put the lawyers on the line,
The
Michael.
lawyers. We famously, for those of you out of the loop, we famously thought Michael had children.
And it's all
only
my
like
fault.
2 children. Like we thought
Two children specifically. Twins.
We're like 2 children, young babies, attorneys at law.
that are lawyers for Nostalgique, actually. Yeah.
And it turns out not true.
Turns
I
out
have
none
so
of it's
many
true.
favorite memories of ABBA. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna step outside the realm of vehicular manslaughter.
Please.
I've actually had the pleasure, I think, of watching you, ABBA. I remember the day I met you was after. It was with Lucas. We were in some restaurant that I don't really remember, but it was after Working Women.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking in my head, I'm no BuzzFeed, but this is someone to watch. I've seen ABBA accomplish so many things in the 2 years that I have had the pleasure of knowing her. Like, I saw you on I Don't Think So, Honey, when they were in Toronto. I got to see you at the Fringe Festival when I didn't even know you could sing.
Oh my God.
Saw you truly carry that beautiful, beautiful performance.
Oh my God.
And then start this gorgeous podcast.
I love you so much. I
Oh
love
my
you
God.
so much.
I love you.
Truly getting to work with you guys is the highlight of my career. I'll fucking say it. It's the highlight of my motherfucking career to work with my friends. Okay? And I'm so fucking happy. I've never been this happy in my entire life.
I'm so glad you're happy. Oh my God, I'm so glad you're happy on your birthday. Truly,
Thank
like
you.
the community, and like I was there at the beginning of the festivities, but just like the people who came, just like the energy that ABBA's like community and friends put out. Like everyone just loves you so much.
I have the
Like,
best friends. I have the best group of friends. Aw, thank you, Sonar. Pod Queen.
It's true, Pod Queen.
I love how
I love you guys.
Aiden's ABBA memory is like so beautiful and just like really
Just like when you
pays tribute to like ABBA's accomplishments and just like her spirit as a person. And me, it's the joke that we have of ABBA hitting me with the car.
But you know what? Let's celebrate that.
Let's celebrate that.
I wish I could pour some Prosecco out for you guys.
Through the what?
Like,
Through the screen?
Through the screen. Grab some. There.
Thank you.
I'm so excited for, okay, so I remember initially when I was like, okay, so 24th, we're doing a live show. Can we cancel? It's my birthday. I want to get drunk. But AJ oh, wait, were we supposed to say our guest?
Wait, no,
Everyone
it's
already
okay.
knows it's our guest.
Everybody knows.
Everyone's going to read the title of this live podcast. But also, knowing that he's bringing one of the best, like one of my most, like I truly do revere this artist that he's going to talk about today. And I'm so happy that we get to talk about it on my birthday. Like, I'm so excited.
I also can't think, I say this a lot and it might sound like insincere, but like I really do think our guests bring people who I'm like, oh wow, like of course, like you're the only person I'd pick. And like this AJ is one of those people, you know, who just like when he picked, and I will say this is some BTS info, is AJ was contemplating between 2 artists. There was one artist, and then there was Solange, who AJ was like maybe Solange, and then end up going with the artist we're talking about today. But it was definitely a Sophie's choice would be diminishing. Like I couldn't even call it that. It was really hard, but I think he made the right choice ultimately.
Yeah. He
The
really
perfect
did.
choice.
And yes.
We love him. I was just going to say we love him.
We love him. We actually do. I would get to work with AJ. I used to work with AJ on the Sketchersons, and we'd hang out with each other truly like every week, and it was beautiful. And so now we actually get to work on Untitled Black Sketch Project together. He's one of the founders along with Coco Galore. And we get to make sketches that we've really wanted to write for a long time. So I'm so excited for that. And we're going to be talking more about that in the new year, and we're going to have stuff out. So obviously keep an eye out for that. It's going to be, we're the first Untitled Black Sketch Project. Yeah, we're the first fully black sketch troupe to exist, I believe, in Canada. So I'm so excited for that.
It's about
And
frickin' time.
It's
I
about
know.
right
It
about.
really does
frickin'
sound
time.
bonkers when you say it out loud.
It's 2020. It's insane. But
It's
I'm
definitely
excited.
overdue, but if you look at the lineup, I can't think of a
Better
better combination of people to be the
Yeah.
first.
Follow
Yeah.
Untitled Black Sketch Project on Instagram.
on Instagram and
that
Twitter.
lineup is the cast, I should say, is
It's truly phenomenal.
a goop.
It's goop. Yeah, I was gooped. I was like, hold on, I get to work with these people. Like, I was excited. Another thing to look out for, I'm sure people are already watching, High Tea with AJ on Bad Dog TV every Wednesday at 4:30. Truly one of the best afternoon shows I've ever watched. AJ, the production quality, like AJ makes videos. He I don't know how the hell he does all of this while also doing the other projects that Ben is about to mention.
Yeah, and literally just to speak on High Tea again, it's something like The Daily Show. Like AJ comes up with an episode of like The Daily Show essentially, or like something like it. You know, he's doing something original. And do not come for me. Daily Show. AJ is better.
Yeah, Daily
And I
Show.
will say, but it's really impressive and it's so funny. And yeah, the production quality is huge. And like follow AJ at AJ with no filters on Instagram.
Please.
Jonas Charlie on Facebook. And huge news. And like this is still kind of breaking news, but keep an eye out. Jonas has a documentary in the works. They just wrapped shooting, I believe, or they have wrapped shooting at NFB. That's the National Film Board. So stay tuned. More to come regarding that in late September, I believe. AJ, I'm sure we'll bring it up, but that is huge. A documentary all about AJ
Huge.
on NFB. So that's
Huge.
amazing. Okay, we got to bring him in.
We have to
bring him
we have to welcome our amazing guest.
guest.
Jonas Charlie.
Ladies,
Oh.
ladies,
Oh.
ladies.
I'm clapping.
Tonight.
Oh.
Did you fetch them?
Uh,
Because I did.
I'm gooped.
I'm gooped. This is
Bitch.
the best. The more he moves around. Oh my god.
It's
Fogy.
Fiona.
Yes. Oh my
Yes,
god.
yes.
Oh my god.
Listener,
Purely
let it be
visual
known.
entrance that will help you.
A purely
now.
visual entrance that I truly have to unpack for the listener. Let it be known that Jonas truly walked into this fucking podcast. I mean, we're physically not here. He's in his condo. But he's wearing all whites, wearing what I can only assume is a green apron, walked towards us, and there is Fiona Apple's face being projected onto this fucking green screen that he has created. And he walked, and you heard what he said, ladies.
Ladies.
One of the best songs off that album, Fetch the Bolt Cutters.
That entrance that's immediate culture. That's launched
Canon.
into the canon, the zeitgeist. Not just in Nostalgique, but just Canadian comedy. Period. If you don't know who we're talking about already now, by this point, I feel sorry for you.
Truly.
People in
Mesmerizing.
the
Thank
comments-
you,
we have to say,
Shannon.
people in the comments are, I'm sure, screaming,
Raving.
I can't. It's also just so captivating because the more AJ moves in his window, the more the more coverage,
the more
Fiona
the
Apple,
image.
the more the image is revealed.
It's
There's
beautiful.
secrets.
Oh my god!
In every corner. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored. I've been a longtime listener.
We are
from
honored.
day one, and I'm so. Before we get into anything, I want to say my favorite ABBA moment though, because
You have to.
I've gotten to work with ABBA a lot, and I have to say, my favorite ABBA moment is when you smiled at me and I jumped.
What is?
Okay, literally, AJ walked in from McDonald's with a bag of fries, and I don't think I had seen him all day during rehearsals. And I saw him come in, and I got excited, and I smiled, and he just went and jumped straight up in the air. And I was like, why the fuck did you do that? What is wrong with you? And he's like, I didn't do that. And I was like, yes, you did. I watched you do it.
I've denied it until this moment.
This is the best birthday present you could ever give
The
me.
best birthday present you could give ABBA is to
Yeah.
cease the gaslighting and just come forward. And that you jumped that day. What was the jump provoked? Was it like out of joy? Like were you startled?
We don't know.
I am very socially awkward, and I've had to learn how to function as a human being in society.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Feelings are very like physical in me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I guess
You just had to jump.
I just
That's
had a
actually
feeling.
so beautiful.
That is really
Right.
beautiful.
It's like synesthesia or whatever when you like taste colors, but you're like you have a physical reaction to emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't control it. Like I'm thinking, if I'm like thinking of an argument in my head, like I'm fully going on the street, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like,
I'm
I
like
think,
mouthing and facing it.
I
Yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
a queer thing, and you know what? I think everything's a queer thing, but that's because
Yeah.
guess what? Everything's queer.
everything is
gay.
queer.
We can really boil it, but that's true because like gay people, when I, for instance, and this has come to my attention a lot more in COVID era
Yeah.
because like I see gays that I haven't seen in a while, and my impulse, Aiden, like when I see you, AJ, to like grab you and be like, oh,
Truly.
but I really do have to restrain myself, or
Mhm.
even just like if someone says something I agree with, like
Mhm.
my arm wants to reach out and just
And
like
grab
grab
them.
you just
Yeah.
because. And
Yeah.
obviously, like I don't know, like if someone's not cool with me touching them, like
That's
I
okay.
won't touch them. That's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But truly, I mean, like gay people, we love queer people. We love to
Love-
grab each other's
yeah.
hands, and
Yeah.
truly, that's just a sign of community. It's just like good.
A sign of community.
communication.
Yeah.
Unity.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Truly. Speaking of
Oh, ABBA.
What is
unity.
ABBA,
What's-
no, we could have done better than that, couldn't we? We could have done better than that.
Oh, man.
Beautiful transition.
I'm getting tipsy, man. I don't.
I love it.
I've built
Yeah.
a very large community
There it
of
is.
people who are fans of Fiona Apple. And
Yeah.
truly, I think people who are fans of Fiona Apple are, I don't want to say they're cult-like. I want to say, yeah, it's community. It's like there's something very familial about being friends with somebody who is also a fan of Fiona Apple. Her music is so intensely vulnerable and so like wildly optimistic also that I'm like, when you have this experience of listening to Fiona Apple, it's not any old experience. It brings us together. It's like people. No, I'm not gonna make that comparison.
Oh my god, what was it gonna be?
I was gonna be like, it's like people would survive. No, I'm not gonna.
We'll talk about it. But no, I definitely agree, especially like because her music is so vulnerable, and like when you listen to it, it really is. It provokes a lot of feelings, rage, anger, lust, what have you. And it's a type. Fiona's the type of musician where like I listen to in solitude and I do internal work. So it's like if someone comes for an artist that is truly my therapist, like I'm gonna be upset, and yes, it may seem cult-like. And I also feel like Fiona is divisive in that she's so non-trad in that way, where like if you like alternative music, but you're scared of anything that's a bit too like abrasively obscure, like then Fiona's really gonna like scare you away, I think.
Yeah.
But that's what makes us stronger.
That's what I love about her though. Because you're talking about her like the emotions. When she's angry, it's never like repackaged as like joy in any way to make the message palatable. She's like, no, I'm fucking mad.
She punches it in. And I really like that intensity. And I think Virgos, this is the thing. This is why I'm so happy that you chose Fiona also, AJ, because Virgos are very like we're always described as like, I don't know, cold. And that's not true. I think Virgos feel so intensely. I'm also a huge astrology bitch. So if you're not down with astrology, man, fuck you. I don't know what to tell you. But no, truly. And OMG, love Fiona. I love Sonar. I love Nostalgique. Thank you, Tina Whitecastle.
Tina Whitecastle.
But yeah, I think that she really goes there and she really exposes sides of like womanhood that people haven't talked about, especially in terms of abuse and depression, which she knows a lot about. So yeah.
I think a lot about Fiona is about building community because she's constantly said, like with Tidal, she said that she made that record to put all of her thoughts and feelings on a CD, give that CD to someone and have them understand who she is instead of having to explain herself. Like that the CD would do all the explaining for her. And then with her most recent album, Fetch the Bolt Cutters, a lot of that album is like a love letter to other women and trying to build community because she failed to do so. Well, because it's been hard to do so because of so many reasons. So this is her trying to. She's in every album. She's always been trying to reconnect and build that community. So it is a strong theme in her work.
Oh my god, AJ, I mean, a PhD we have in our presence. Truly,
I
mean,
know.
No, literally.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm trying to measure up to the likes of Tom Hearn on Britney, Brandon Ashford on Nelly Furtado.
Yeah.
These are high marks. Like I had to do my research.
You're meeting them, and when you say that
You're meeting
Affection
them.
Bolt Cutters is really a love letter to women and fostering community among women, that is a perfect way. Because, like, I mean, Shamika, that is the song. The
Let's get
song
into it.
is like the song, and I love the song. Shamika is one of my favorite off the album.
Yes.
It's so good, and that song is truly a love letter to. I mean, she's using Shamika as like a catalyst for like, I think the women in her life who built her up and told her that she had potential. Because Shamika said, "What?
Yes, potential."
And
yeah.
So go.
Well, AJ, I'm really curious to hear your opinion on the song because personally, I think that that's a lie. I already know your opinion on the song. We've talked about it a lot. But for the listeners, like I genuinely want you to express how you feel about it because for me, listening to it, Fiona Apple did a really good job at showcasing clearly a Black woman who name a white woman named Shamika. I will be mad. We truly get to see her talk about this Black woman who has helped her in a way that isn't like, the help, like the magical Negro that has wisdom. Shamika wasn't kind and she wasn't her friend.
She wasn't her friend.
She wasn't gentle, but she told her she had potential. And that is that is a service to Fiona and the rest of the world. And she truly just showcased how, this woman who she doesn't even know, wasn't even friends with, was like, here's a piece of a device. Take it and go be great. And she didn't have to, but she did. Go on.
Oh my God.
It's one of my closest friends. Like I truly love him so much. Thank you.
Can I say something? I lurked
Hey.
Gokhan once on Instagram and he's cute. I did. I truly did.
Matchmaker. But AJ,
Yes.
Go off. How do you feel about
on
the song
Shamika?
specifically?
Oh, we could have done the episode on Shamika instead of Fiona Apple. It would have been a full episode.
Oh my god.
There's so much I have to say. I want to start talking about it musically first because it's such a beautiful track musically. When you listen to Fetch the Bolt Cutters, the end of the first song, I Want You to Love Me, the piano melody established in the song, the secondary melody becomes the main melody in Shamika. Like it builds, go back and listen to it. It's the same line, but reinterpreted to be the main melody of Shamika, which is such a mind-blowing thing. I didn't even notice until my third listen.
Whoa. Sorry, the listeners can't see, but Ab and I fully look like we just saw a magic trick for the first time. We like our eyes are so wide.
Listen, I have this weird hobby where I've never talked about this in Toronto comedy, where I take like songs I like transcribe them in like a musical digital workshop, and then I turn it into like video game music. It's so nerdy. And I've done that.
Smart.
I don't know what I do.
How do you do that?
I don't know. I listen to it note by note. I'm like, okay, C sharp. Okay, we're in the key of C sharp here, and then I put it all on the computer. And then
people in the comments are
AJ,
like,
I feel like you just told us that you can like see the Matrix.
Yeah, that's
Thank
literally
you.
exactly what you did.
Thank you.
I'm just like listening to the melody, and I'm like trying to get it
you're,
as
like,
accurate.
Your ear training is that good enough that you can just listen to a song and
No, it's not that good. But
I'm sure
it's good enough so that I can like get the melody across accurately. I care about accuracy a lot, so sometimes I'll take like the original track, put it in the workstation I'm in, and I would play it at the same time as I'm adjusting the notes so that I can hear it and make sure these are the same pitch. And I do that for like Taylor Swift songs and like Lizzo, Truth Hurts, and it's a very fun exercise. And I did that for that piano line just to make sure that this melody was doing what I thought it was, and it is. So if you guys want a transcription of that line, I got it for you.
That is insane.
I kind of do. Like
I feel like Fiona needs to know this, and she needs to like personally give you a hug safely. Can you put your songs. Yes, actually.
Okay. When I come back, if ever in the future, and we do Solange, I have Solange songs. I have made video game tracks out of. So we'll,
Thank you.
For listeners, we just got a comment that said, asked AJ if he could throw one of his songs up, and like that will happen in the future. We have to now. That's incredible. And Fiona, I'm sure if you came to her with that information, you were like, look what I discovered this thing that you did. She would probably be like, you live with me now.
Yeah.
She'd be like, you're in.
Yeah. She's so meticulous too. So I think she'd really appreciate that.
She'd be like, do you want to play Mario Kart?
Right?
Well, because the production of her songs are so meticulous, Abba. Like you're saying, like it's like the details are, and this is what. Okay, whoa! I was about to get so mad. My Latin rage, like true. I was actually about to like my hands were about to explode. But a big criticism, a big criticism of Fiona that I hear from like. I'll just say it, normies, is like, oh, it's too chaotic. It's just like smashing, and there's no rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is the exact, I know AJ's fanning himself. That is the exact opposite of what she's doing.
Exactly.
It's like, and I think people who, oh my God, not that I think I'm like a genius. Obviously I'm not.
Accept it.
You. But it's like when you, and this, like in Shamika, for instance, the screaming, there's a part where there's like a chorus of screams. I think to someone who maybe isn't listening critically might hear that and be like, oh, like loud nonsense. But it's like, it's placed in like this climactic part where it's like you feel like you're like exhaling with them. Like it's like it all works to serve like a really cool purpose, and you just have to like surrender to it.
It does, and it makes me so. It's so disheartening to hear people say that they didn't like the production on, especially Fetch the Bolt Cutters, which is a purely produced album. But like in this case, the medium is the message. She's literally banging on her house in the song, trying to break free from the structure, the mold that is.
I'm in church.
Yes,
I'm in church.
Fetching the bolt cutter, she's rattling the fence that's caged her and turning it into music. That's part of it. And then even aside from that, the music itself that is there is immaculately produced. You're getting so many layers. You're getting so many textures, so many details. When you hit the line "crash cymbals" in Shamika, and you actually hear crash cymbals. Saying, listen, Fiona didn't come to play. She came to give you nuance.
Yes,
she came to give you detail, and she has served it again and again. Not even when in her early days, when she wasn't even producing the tracks, when John Brion was touching the tracks, we had a full orchestra playing, giving you every little detail, everything, every boop, every bam. That everything was musically perfect. And now in 2020, she's giving you Fetch the Bolt Cutters, where she's doing it herself. She's banging on pots and pans, and it's literally perfect.
And let's get into it, AJ, because you know what? And I've never seen AJ this animated before in my life.
I
really want to acknowledge also that like nature truly came together to be a part of that album. There's a part at the end of the song of Fetch the Bolt Cutters where her dogs just start barking.
Yes.
The dogs knew that magic was being made in that fucking room. And they stayed silent until the end of that damn song.
And Jonathan on the Idler Wheel, this chorus of kids just like screaming and playing.
And it's so important to me. Like
Cara Delevingne, her meow in Fetch the Bolt Cutters between choruses. It's huge. It's important.
Huge. Where does one begin if they've never ventured into Fiona Apple's music? AJ, take it away.
Ooh, that's a great question.
That's a great question.
That's a really great question.
It's a good question.
AJ, what's your... Wait, before AJ answers that question, I just have to say the medium is the message is just a very profound takeaway from Fetch the Bolt Cutters. And like that truly, I'm like, I'm going to listen to it again through that lens. I'm like, oh, I mean, love.
Yeah.
But what is your, if you, I mean, I guess not your seminal Fiona album, but like if you wanted to, if you really were like want to break someone into Fiona Apple, what would you send them first?
You definitely start with Tidal, which is I feel like it's a little bit like not a surprise to start with a debut album.
Yeah.
But it's a good introduction. Criminal, I think Criminal is the opening song. I think it's her best introductory song because it's such a clear idea. Like what I need is a good defense. I think it's a great premise that she delivers on lyrically. Super poppy, great melody, but also with the magical production of her earlier albums. I think that's just a great album to start with, but I don't think it's. I mean, she was like what 17 when that was being written, produced. Like, it's not her best work, but it's an important work to have in your mind because she recontextualizes a lot of those kinds of thoughts in her later work.
Yeah. So, and that's what I really like about her. She's such an artist. She really takes her time. And I think that she uses a lot of time off to just like, it took her so long to write Fetch the Bolt Cutters. And just, you know, it reminds me of this story. So I listened to Fiona Apple passively as a kid. I didn't have the depth or the understanding that I needed to listen to her music because it really is, she just opens up the book. She doesn't hold anything back. And I don't think I was ready. I was kind of like, it's not fun enough. This isn't Foster the People.
This isn't Foster.
Oh my God.
But when I got to university, the first date I ever went on in university was with this really, you know what? I was so lonely. It was with this really, really lanky, very, very sweet white guy who was like, do you listen to Fiona Apple? And I was like, Fiona who? And like, I was like, I passively listened. And he was like, you need to listen to it. I'm going to say the entire album title. You need to listen to The Idler Wheel is wiser than the driver of the screw. And whipping cords will serve you more than ropes will ever do. He said, listen to that because she is such a phenomenal artist. And I think that you're missing out and you would enjoy her music. And I did. And the first song I listened to was Jonathan. And I was floored. I have never felt someone's yearning and pain so much as I did as when I listened to Jonathan. Those clatterings, those random noises, it creates an atmosphere. And I don't think a lot of artists are good at doing that, but Fiona has mastered it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh my God.
What is everyone's favorite Fiona song?
Oh my God. You know, White Castle with the Coaches. I will have to say this is interesting because we all have different answers. Because if someone were to, because my friend, dear sister Michaela, she got me onto Fiona Apple, and the album she told me to listen to first was Extraordinary Machine. And that is an album that I haven't revisited in a while, but I do remember enjoying. And I think, I mean, the title track, Extraordinary Machine, I think it's the first song off the album. I remember liking that, but I was an Oh Sailor girl.
Woo! I had a crush on a boy named Sailor, and I'd sing that all the time.
Oh my God.
His name was actually Sailor.
Wait, say that again.
I had a crush on a boy named Sailor. Like, his name was actually Sailor, and he worked at a bar that I went to all the time in second year.
Oh my
God.
And
I was always like, oh, Sailor. Like, I was like, why don't you love me? Like, why'd you do it? Like, it was my go-to cry to song. Yeah.
I love that. It's a good cry song. That was an angsty anthem for me, for sure.
For sure. But to answer your question, Tina, I think my favorite Fiona song would for sure be Werewolf. Because I imagine a music video every time I listen to it. And the way the children just come in at the end, there's something really melancholic about it. It's really sad to me. It's a really, really sad song. Yeah.
I actually wrote down my favorite lyric from every Fiona Apple album.
So thorough.
And so my favorite lyric from Werewolf, I'm going to do it on my computer. From Werewolf. I spoiled it. It's from Werewolf. The lava of a volcano shot up hot from under the sea. One thing leads to another, and you made an island out of me.
Wow.
Tears.
No.
Pain. Sadness.
What a metaphor and geomorphologically correct. Like, that lava will erupt. It will cool.
A Venn diagram we don't see very often in culture is songs that are emotionally true and also geographically true at the exact same time. Okay, so Werewolf is both your favorite songs.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
No.
Oh.
This is such a hard choice because I love so many songs, especially somebody off of Fetch the Bolt Cutters, my favorite album of all time. But the one I sing the most.
AJ just said Fetch the Bolt Cutters, and Abba sighed and said yeah, as if like we don't talk about it enough.
Every single day.
You tell me as if we're not talking about it right now. Sorry, AJ, continue.
Yeah, continue.
Actually, can I play my favorite song. I
Okay.
love it. So this is off of Fetch the Bolt Cutters, my favorite song.
I read poetry and sonnets, and he plays the upright bass. Yamakipiebo, sedere facebo, in dog Latin, he quoth, Uge, sophist, hooray! Well, he bit all the he-dogs and winked at all the she-dogs. The town never knew such a hullabaloo as that little dog raised till the end of that day. We just have a good rhythm together, you know. He sort of feels me out, I feel him out, and we go for it.
Oh my God! AJ, I need you to know that I wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat once a week, and I just gasp awake. I'm like, Shabba Charay!
Shabba Charay.
I love it. Oh,
Literally. Also, how dare you let my stupid brain for like a quarter of a second be like, I didn't know there was a music video for Under the Table.
And also, might I mention, I don't know if the listeners were able to hear this because we're recording on two different things, but he like just go and look up what's her name again?
Kim Cattrall.
Kim Cattrall scatting. It's a marvel. It's a marvel.
We just have good rhythm.
As she rubs his stomach. I was telling Connor before Connor Lowe is our phenomenal tech for this evening, and we love Connor. And I was just laughing at how she rubs his chest as if they did a good job together. Like that was so true.
That is good
so
boy.
funny to me.
That is
I
so
need to
funny.
tattoo Yuge Sophist Hooray on my arm or my chest or something. Because, listen, if you couldn't tell, my favorite track of Field Apple is Fetch the Bolt Cutters. You know, that's it.
Mhm.
That's it. And I think that clip encapsulates the album.
It really does.
Oh
It
my
does.
God. That is so funny. My favorite song, short and sweet, Cosmonauts off that album. Cosmonauts, it makes me, you know what it makes me feel like? It makes me feel like a small, tiny European woman. And I'm like walking down a cobblestone street and it's like, it's Prague.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, when will I find love? And who will it be with? Who will it be with? I love the little piano, the soft little piano, and when her vocals just get so soft and like still staccato, and she's just like, "You and I will be like," and you're just like, "Oh," she's like.
And then we talked about it. My favorite part, and I think you were also agreed. The best part in that song is then when the backing vocals kick in the second verse. What are we gonna do? Makes me like I get goosebumps every time. It's so good.
So my favorite moment from that song is when she just yells, started.
Yes.
And then her screaming gets more and more like unfiltered and unlike brought like the more, oh my God, it gets like so like you hear in her throat.
Yeah, it's like she has a tantrum and she's like, and then she like comes down from it and she's like, you and I will be like, it's so good. Oh, I love her.
And you could tell like the emotion in the studio is okay, Sonar Network coming first in the comments. How has no one said paper bag? I like paper bag. I like paper bag.
It is.
Oh my God, but just like you can tell in the studio when she's recording that like every take there's a real there's like something real happening in that room. You know what I mean? I'm sure like it's just like you could it's like it's not produced. It's not like, you know, when you listen to a ballad by a pop star and like you know there's an element of performance there. It's like obviously, but Fiona is such a treat in that like she really just gives you like the unfiltered, gritty, and it's not like a gimmick. It's not like, look, I'm anti this. It's like, no, Fiona's just like her own stream, her own channel.
I actually did want to talk about that because I feel like she's always had this like anti-consumerism bent to her from day one. This real like empath. Don't be. I mean, I have her speech literally like this isn't like a fake out. I have her MTV. 1997 MTV Award speech where she talks about it.
This is bullshit. Yeah.
And I feel like that kind of personality has been commodified. They've commodified anti-consumerism.
Mhm.
I feel like that's something that concerns me, and maybe we're past the point of no return in actually experiencing big pop stars that actually have that realness to them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I might be wrong.
I agree. And when I think that a lot of people miss, because the music industry is very saturated right now because there's so many different ways to get your music. But I think people forget, we always categorize Fiona Apple as like alternative indie music. When she came on the scene, like she was like being played by everyone. She truly was pop music. That's what music was like in the 90s. And I remember my parents playing her and being like enjoying it. But I think what's also so great about Fiona Apple is that she does not wane on any of her beliefs. She's very solid in her beliefs, and it's so easy for you to just be truly turned out by the music industry. That happens to so many pop stars. Like in a Britney Spears episode, we talk about that and how like women get picked up, scooped up, they make money out of them, and then they're discarded. And that did happen to Fiona Apple, and yet she persisted. Not to quote girl boss shit, but AJ can talk about Fiona Apple across the universe.
Yes, he can.
Really.
I wish AJ would.
That's what's going to save the world from the asteroid that's going to hit us on October 17th.
Is there seriously an asteroid that's going to hit us on October?
I think there's going to be an asteroid that might hit us on October 17th. Again, I saw this on The Cut, so...
Where is it going to hit? I'm walking right towards it. I'm walking right
I know. Arms open.
Abba, do you want to split an Uber?
Oh, yeah.
No, guys,
I'll
Uber,
download.
can we Uber pool, please?
We're pulling, all of us.
But
all of us.
that MTV speech is iconic, and I remember being aware of that speech before I even was listening to her music, probably.
Yeah.
And because when she made that speech, okay, AJ will probably know. How old was she? 19.
Yeah.
So she's 19, and I think I feel that type of, and the way she's delivering it, it's like these are the words of a 19-year-old. Like this does not feel like a PR gimmick. This does not feel like, okay, you're gonna get up there and you're gonna. It's like you could really. It's like it's who she is.
Yeah.
Which is like you're saying, it's kind of unfortunate that we don't really get a lot or any of that anymore. It really is. Even if someone is like an indie alt pop person, they're still like selling merch and they're still. Because that's how they make money, I guess.
That's how you have to make money now. Albums don't sell. I also really want to get into AJ. I want to get into how like Fiona Apple has kind of she gave us, beginning of quarantine, everyone was terrified. We didn't know what to expect. And truly we were all isolated, and in a way that like we weren't using Zoom really yet. And like there was a lot, we were just floundering. And then she dropped the motherfucking album. And I have never seen so many people rejoice about one thing all at once. Even, when Beyonce drops, obviously the TL is on fire, but it was different with Fiona. It's like, oh, you're here to save us. Like, thank you.
And it's been so long.
Fetch the bolt cutters. We were already feeling like, yeah, get us out of here. Like we're inside of our homes. We want to get out. But for women who have been abused, for femme people who have been overlooked, for people who truly have been marginalized in so many ways by the patriarchy, like Fetch the Bolt Cutters is essential listening. Because Fiona Apple herself is a victim of abuse, and she gets into that in this album, and it is paramount. I think that no one has ever done an album like this before, and on behalf of she did it on behalf of all femme people, and I truly can't thank her enough. I think she did a great job.
Yeah. I agree. I think even if you're not a fan of Fiona Apple's music, I think Fetch the Bolt Cutters is worth listening to. Just even once through, if you want to be like a better ally to especially survivors of abuse, period, because I think it's very rare that we get art surrounding survivors of abuse that isn't kind of dwelling in this. I don't know. Obviously it's tragic, but it's like Fiona's music is showing I don't know, something positive about the other side of that tragedy, maybe. That's a bit reductive, but you got what I'm saying. It's I think you should listen to her music, period. Especially especially true. Or even just for her, her as a song, and lyrically, even if you just read the lyrics, it's it breaks down nuanced abuse within relationships where people take consent for granted, or people think consent is a given. Sorry, like it's really. I mean, the lyric, like, sorry, content warning,
Content warning
content
for
warning
rape,
for sexual assault. And for rape is the lyric, "You raped me in the bed that your daughter was born in."
And she says, "Good morning." That's
good morning.
The thing.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. Good morning.
Automatically for me, every morning I sing in my head, "Good morning,
Good morning.
good morning," and then I remember the following line, and like,
Yeah.
I can't keep starting my days like this.
No, truly.
But it
Truly.
was a magical moment. Like the first time I listened to the album, it was heartbreaking but beautiful and transcendent. And I can't tell someone to just listen to that song, because I think you have to listen to it in the context of the album, and ideally in the context of her whole story. Like I feel like this album, you get so much out of knowing who Fiona Apple is and the context of the creation of this album. But I also suggest listening to the album in full, because there's so much humor and lightness to this album that is so unexpected that makes it a perfectly balanced experience. Like Shamika is just a totally humorous concept in general. That this random black girl said, "You got it.
It's not potential, bitch."
Never saw her again. And Fiona went on to become Fiona Apple. Rack of his, the central metaphor of that song. Look at that rack of his. Like, it's such a funny metaphor to play on words. And she has just this funny look and take on things, and she delivers on that again and again. And then we get For Her, which is just the most one of the most powerful musical statements we've gotten to have in 2020 and 21st century ever. And for me, the whole album was a magical listening experience, and I'm glad I set myself up. I'm glad I was ready. I'm glad I was ready. I'm glad The Idler Wheel was my first album. I was in my first year of high school when
oh my gosh!
Out. Stand instantly. I was about to fight this. Oh, it was in Latin class.
You took Latin class?
Oh my god, Latin!
You're so smart. Oh.
It's ridiculous.
What academy was this at?
This is Pickering High School, the most high school in Pickering. I was talking to this indie bro after class about the best album of the year, 2012. And he was like some Miniature Tigers or some whatever. And I was like, no. If it's not Frank Ocean, it is Fiona Apple, The Idler Wheel. Come pro hands, because my hands will do the talking for me.
Go off.
And I was instantly sucked into Fiona. And to wait 8 years, painful, Fiona, yes, but so worth it, because she's given something for me and for everyone else to ruminate on and to digest and to enjoy for such a long period of time. This album is so giving, and that's why I'm talking so much, because there's so much to offer.
No, of course. If any album has replay value, I immediately think of Fetch the Bolt Cutters. If I play one song from that album, I'm like, well, might as well listen to the whole thing. Like, I can't just play one. Yeah,
it's like starting a movie and like only watching the first like 5 minutes. It's like you can't. It's like once you're immersed in that world, you're like, no, I want to be in here for a bit longer. I love that. First of all, Miniature Tigers, I never liked. What's that song? Lolita of theirs?
Yeah.
That single?
Lolita?
Never enjoyed it. And that indie bro
to celebrate Lolita.
So
controversial.
But
like, are you the vaccines? Come on.
I can't believe he wouldn't have said Channel Orange that year.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, and I know this isn't a Frank Ocean episode, and that just made me realize I can't wait until one day we do.
I can't wait until
I know.
That's one of my favorite albums.
It's Channel Orange's truly changed my life.
Changed my
There's
life.
some years of music that I think are just completely magical. I think 2012 was magic.
Whoa.
Especially for
what else came out in 2012 for you, AJ, that was like big, huge? Loved it.
For me, the real defining albums were that one and The Idler Wheel, but there are some more that I need to dig up because I know the year means a lot to me. But it's really 2012, 2010, 2016 are my big years.
Yeah.
In 2010, we got Go Off.
Because there's Channel Orange, and then Good Kid, Mad City, Kendrick.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
Fiona. Okay, so those are the top 3 just like in Google's list.
Love Google.
Rap music by Killer Mike. Lonerism by Tame Impala.
Oh! Wait, which Grimes album was it?
Visions?
Visions came out in 2012? That's so weird. I thought it came out earlier.
I did too.
I placed that early. But honestly, this podcast has made me realize that I have my timeline that I imagine is not the timeline that actually exists for everybody else. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Lana Del Rey, Born to Die came out that year. This was big. Taylor Swift, Red.
Taylor Swift, which won Grammy of Album of the Year over Kendrick, I believe. Which I was mad about that.
And then history repeated itself again like a couple of years later. Where
Babel by Mumford and Sons. Wow, this is like reminding me of Boys.
It's wild. And you know what's really funny about that year? That year was like a lot of independent artists and just like, I guess mainstream artists as well. We're talking about Frank Ocean and Lana Del Rey. I think they're we talk about them independently because of the way that they make their music, but they are like, they release it mainstream. And they truly, they really went off that year. And it was such an important year for me because I was in grade 12 or grade 11. I'm not sure. But it was a transitional year where I was like, oh, I'm becoming an adult and I have to go off to university. And these albums that you mentioned, but specifically Fiona Apple, I mean, later on, obviously, because I didn't meet that guy yet. But it was very, like there was something obviously very deep about it. But the yearning was also very sensual. And like, because it was a coming of age moment, I was like figuring out who I am as like a person, but also as a sexual being. And I think it was really important for me to listen to those albums because there are so many things out there that can taint your perspective of who you are as a sexual person. And as a person who loves, as a person who wants to love and is yearning. But those albums really, I don't know, they allowed me to become a hopeless romantic.
I know. Yeah, I love that because like, especially Idler Wheel, etc. Because like Hot Knife for me was on the album. Truly, that to me was like a yearning song. That was kind of like, but that was also
listeners,
kind of
you're getting a little ASMR as ABBA refills her cup. I literally see you on the moon, bitch.
Oh my God, double ASMR.
We bougie. Let's pour it. I'm get the mic can hit this.
So fancy.
Ooh.
AJ, I have to say, with your green apron and white T-shirt, it does look like you are a Starbucks employee.
We're at Starbucks.
But I love you.
Did you steal that from the green room at Comedy Bar?
No, I got this. Let me show you. Actually, let me turn this. It's inside out right now.
Okay.
This neck hole's tight. This is what this is.
Steam Whistle. Who, of course, now owe us a check.
Yes, we want to be sponsored Steam Whistle.
Michael's children are already on it.
Michael's children, they're drafting the contract.
Truly. Oh my God.
This is my prize for winning producer's pick at Toronto Sketch Fest.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say because you got the huge Steam Whistle thing. Oh, that's so sweet.
Oh my God, I love
and
that.
So that was a really great show, AJ. You should be proud of yourself for that.
Yeah,
very
so fun.
Oh
I watched it on Instagram Live. It was I loved it.
I remember seeing you do it. I didn't see its full run, but I saw you do it at Bad Dog one night. I think you just like I don't know if you did all of it, but the sketches you did were so funny. The Little Women sketch was and the dancing too. The dancing, incredible.
Oh yeah,
your footwork. Oh my God, AJ's an incredible sketch. Is it on YouTube and everything? Or?
It is. It actually is. If you'd like to watch it.
No, please, if you're listening, just YouTube Adonis Charlie. He's so
talented. And I truly, it's so funny because I've seen those sketches so many times because you've performed them in different ways to like workshop them. And yet every time I listen to it or even think of it, or watch it, like I guffaw. Like I don't just laugh. I go off. It's so fucking funny. So good. So amazing.
And especially as comedians, as performers, a lot of us like run the same circles and see each other's like work like
over and over again,
several times a week even. And it's like, it's always, I love like that I can see someone over and over again and I'm always laughing. And you know, all people like that for me. Every girly in every square I see in front of me. I'm a little bit tipsy. As I was talking just now, I was like, I fully forgot we were recording. I fully forgot this was a podcast. I was really gonna go off. Like, let me really go in on each and every one of you. I have to say something. Because we were talking about the Idler Wheel. Is that album artwork to me? You know what? Okay, you know what? Album artwork rare. Like sometimes album artwork stays album artwork, but sometimes it becomes T-shirts, posters, buttons everywhere. That was an album cover to me where it's like that's instantly iconic. And I think if anyone had to pick one, Fiona. Well, maybe actually, Fetch the Bolt Cutters is a really iconic album.
Yeah.
But that illustration for me, I feel like I still see everywhere, and especially on the graphic tee of maybe a barista in his 30s.
And I fall in love with it.
I'm fetishizing a man that I truly just want to exist in IRL. Yeah.
AJ, I don't know if we already talked about it, but how did you get into Fiona Apple? Did we talk about that specifically?
Yeah, I don't think we did.
Yeah. How did you discover her initially? I love how we're doing this at the end of the episode. So much.
So how'd you discover her?
Yeah.
Ooh, I was, a youngin' on the internet. I really started hitting my phase of listening to music I wanted to listen to after years of being held captive by Janet Jackson.
What do you mean?
Were your parents or siblings obsessed?
Sort of. Like my mom had an iPod that she gave to me that exclusively had Janet Jackson's entire discography, and I'm certain that that's what made me gay because it was in my very formative years.
Of course,
that's all the music I had access to. But eventually, I started. It was actually, like, peering through the more mainstream alt artists on the internet, like Pitchfork. I was very Pitchfork core at the time.
Yeah. Who wasn't, truly?
Who wasn't? It's important. It's an important step in your musical journey.
I is. And noisy.
Noisy. Well, yeah. Complex for rap.
Okay, at some points. Yeah.
I think that's where those were my sources to starting, and that's how I found Fiona Apple. Was looking for just the best music I could find in the year, and her album was clearly that. But soon after talking with that indie bro, actually, he was like, go look up this band called Alvin Band on YouTube. And I was like, okay, only if you listen to Fiona Apple albums again. And he did. And I did. And then I really liked this album. It was called Mantis Praying on YouTube. And he's a guy from Miniature Tigers. To begin with.
We do not talk about Miniature Tigers in this podcast.
We do not.
Alvin Band, okay. I actually don't know them enough. I'm sure
I don't know them that well.
I literally only know one song by them, and I don't even know. As I say it, Lolita. I'm like, was that even a song by them?
To be there,
we just love a pylon.
We love it. Sorry, continue it.
So one of them made a solo album where he only used his voice and body percussion to make this album a la Bjork's Medulla in that style. And it's really good. It has some really catchy songs, some really cool production. And I was like, I want to go deeper into this. YouTube algorithm helped me right out, and I started listening to Animal Collective, now my favorite band of all time.
I didn't know this about you.
Yes, I'm a stan.
I love Animal Collective, and this also makes sense why you're such a Fiona stan too. I feel like they inform each other a bit.
They do. I feel like Fiona Apple was the right person for me to talk about here because she's a bit of a recluse, a bit of someone who wants to connect but doesn't always know the best means how. Kind of an indoor cat, and I feel like I sympathize, and I am a lot of those things. So I feel like it'd be wrong for me to do a Britney, or it would be wrong for me to do a Mariah. I feel like Fiona was the right one for me to do. I love that you kind of see yourself in her in the recluse way, kind of an indoor cat. I love that. Yeah.
It's so funny because AJ is always performing and always working on a project, always doing something. You're so productive. You're always doing something. You're always working on a project. But I know we've had several conversations where you're like, yeah, I don't like to be out. I stay my ass at home. And when you do show up to things, and when you are when you do come out, I'm like, wow, damn, AJ must really fucking love me, and I really fucking love AJ.
Yeah. I know It must be true. I don't jump when everyone smiles at me. It has to happen.
It
fucking
does not happen. No, I love. It's also like, I think a lot of sorry, a departure from Beyond Apple, but I do find like a lot of comedians I know, a lot of like people who are like huge and extroverted on stage, they really just like a cozy night in, and that's how every performer is a bit of a Taurus in them, in that way.
Go off, sis.
And then we weren't talking about Tauruses enough, so I had to bring up Taurus, and that is a Taurus quality.
It is a Taurus trait, which I'm curious now. AJ, what is your sign? Like, what do you know your full birth chart?
I'm gonna need a guess from each one of you.
Oh, okay. I love this. Okay.
Yes.
Aiden, you go first. It'll go ABA, ABBA.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Okay, I'm gonna guess. I think you are an I, and I say that with love.
I have great
That's very smart.
No, no, this. Oh my goodness! I really, because I'm trying to also be like, because it's like I know you, so I'm like, your birthday. Can I place it somewhere in the year? I really. Oh my god! I'm panicking. Oh my god. Okay, no, I need to calm down. Okay. I think maybe Cancer.
Interesting, Ben.
Oh,
I was going to
say,
say, but I'm going to say Libra. I'm gonna say Libra.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay, I guess I gotta come out and say it. I am a Scorpio.
Scorpio! Oh my god!
Escándalo!
Yeah, but I was like, you're not evil.
Oh my god!
You know what though?
Oh.
I'm gonna say that ABBA Price is Right. ABBA Price is Right rules closes without going over is correct because
That is
I
correct,
think
yeah.
that like the emotions
I
are
think it's
there.
like, I think I'm the most wrong.
I don't know.
No.
Cancer?
Oh, I don't know.
think in regard, I think if we
Cancer and Scorpio are
Cancer and
similar.
Scorpio, okay,
If you mix
I
all of
think
our
this-
answers
wow.
together, you get a Scorpio.
exactly. So we're actually right. I
Mhm.
love
It makes Astrology.
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 Oh my god, spin-off.
Spin
Oh my
off.
god, spin-off series. Oh my god,
Right?
Paige! Remember when we were talking about my friend Paige one episode? That's Paige. Hi. Oh my god, maybe Paige didn't know we talked about her one episode, and now this is when she realizes. But Paige was all great stuff. I raved about you. What is your moon and rising, AJ? Paige,
Let me
wants to know.
reinstall CoStar really quickly.
While we're reading, I
Um,
could say my moon and rising, which is
please.
Go back.
Virgo moon and Capricorn rising.
Wait, you're a Virgo moon? Why didn't I know that?
I
Oh my
said-
god,
yeah,
that's so compatible.
I know. I feel like I told you that. I feel like I told you maybe one day.
You sent it to me and I said you're crazy, but it's not true. It's not crazy.
You're not easy.
You're
I know.
not.
And I thought.
Ben, can I tell you why we're so connected?
Yes.
I'm also a Capricorn rising.
And
Oh.
what is your moon?
My moon is
What's your moon?
Aquarius.
We
Oh.
stand. I love Aquarius energy. I
Aiden,
love
that is so. I see that in you, and just
I love
like your
that.
like measuredness. I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You are very
And water sign, and white wine is iconically a liquid. So
There, yeah.
so there you go.
Oh my god, when I went into Comedy Bar, they served me the biggest glass of white wine. That was,
Cancer
of course,
and
legal.
Scorpio are both water signs, so I actually was. Maybe I was second closest.
Maybe your second
True.
closest.
That's
Can
true.
I- Feels like I'm here late. What did I miss? So we're just Fiona Apple, depression, working extremely hard, being a phenomenal artist, being truly truly essential listening, just in general, not for any genre. AJ is Fiona
Yeah.
Apple. I agree,
Yeah.
Michael. It really
Among
is.
other things, we must say, AJ, like, I feel like could teach a lecture or a full course in a
On Fiona
myriad
Apple.
topics.
Absolutely.
True. Any
Yeah.
topic.
Any
Oh
topic.
my god.
Maps I learned recently listening
Oh, yeah.
to you on Becky's podcast.
Oh yeah. Very
Wait,
interesting.
actually, sorry, AJ, to put you on the spot about this, but do you want to maybe talk before
Talk about
as we're wrapping up about your app?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I developed this web mapping application called Cop Out, which is really simple. It's a website you go to called copout.app, and it's this live map that you can use when you're protesting to pinpoint things like active events and important locations. So you could like select an emoji. Let's say there's an active fire going on. You put the fire emoji where the fire's happening, and then everyone in the area can see that that's happening and will be aware of that. So the main application is for protesters and keeping them in the know. But I also designed it with privacy and security in mind. So anyone can do it.
Yeah.
Yes, it's maybe the most important thing about protest.
Totally.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Oh my god.
As a Black person, like truly, it is an extremely important app. And I don't want to say right now, because as Black people, we know that this shit is always fucking going on. And so I'm really happy that you've created something that is actually so useful. And I really hope that people protesting use it, because it is essential in keeping us safe. But furthermore, like, people who are listening, I want you to know that we are like anti-cop, we are anti-establishment, we are pro-indigeneity, we are pro-Black, we are pro-trans, we support people who are marginalized. And I think you already know this if you're listening to this podcast, but we have, like, you know, there are some comments that I've read and deleted where people have been problematic. And we just want to make it like I want to make a clear statement that like, we're very anti-bigot. So if you are a bigot, or you feel as though talking about race or sexism, transphobia is going to upset you, just don't listen to the podcast. We don't need your listen.
No, we really don't care. And you're also ugly. And that just has to be said. We can't get sued. We can't divorce that from the narrative, because it really is. It really is true. And whether or not your ugliness is prompting you to do this, or you're doing this as a result of, we don't really care. Just keep your ugliness off.
Go listen to Joe Rogan.
Listen to Joe. And you know what? It's like also this podcast, like we're queer people. We're queer people of color. We're gonna talk about your faves in a way that maybe you as a white listener, you as a straight listener might take issue with. But just know that you taking issue with it is just actively not listening.
Exactly.
So just like listen to what people have to say maybe when they're talking.
Learn a perspective.
Not to depart from making these statements and, like, you know, essentially manifestos about what we represent and who we stand. I'll say it, stand. But AJ, like, I feel like when we talk about Fiona Apple, there is so much to get into, and it's such a broad topic. And I don't think that we can cover it in the span of like however long our podcast episodes are. So I'm so excited for you to come back and talk about, like, maybe we can do like a thing where we talk about specific albums, because I think you have a wealth of knowledge, and not only a wealth of knowledge about Fiona Apple, but like a true love for Fiona Apple that I think is very chef's kiss.
I really do. And you're a music nerd as well. Because AJ, I remember, I think it was like the end of 2019 when you released like your favorite albums from 2000 to 2020. I think you did.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if like where you could find that, but like I looked through it. I'm like, I mean, we have a lot of
albums in common.
So it made me feel very happy. But also just like, your taste is so cool and eclectic, and I love seeing. And we talk about this a lot, but learning people's taste in music is just like the coolest, most fun thing. And your taste is so expansive. It's
become a part of this podcast where truly at the end of every episode, music is so important, and because it's smart for you to know about this. Like we wax so much about music. It's true. It's nice to know.
But it really is true. Like music is great. Yeah, it's important. And like, I don't know, new music in quarantine is like, it hits differently than music from before. Like when artists come out with music now, I'm just like, oh, art is alive. Like people still care.
I'm like, I believe in love.
I know. Oh my God. Like I've said it before and I say it again. Like,
it's true.
Like, Angel Olsen's new album coming out. I'm like, thank you. Bright Eyes new album. Oh
yeah. People still do care, and that is so important to me. I care about musicians who care to grow, who care to share experiences, and who care that the music that they release is bettering the people that they release it to.
Yeah.
Fiona Apple straight up put a land acknowledgement on Fetch the Bolt Cutters on the album itself. Yeah. So as we were saying, if you're problematic, don't listen to this podcast. You can't listen to Fiona Apple either. Like, that's not for you. Yeah. You can go play with Finger 11, or I'm sure Finger 11's great. You can play with
Finger 11.
traps.
Not finger 11.
Not Finger 11. Someone from Finger 11 is listening to this and they're like, "Aw."
I'm so sorry. I love Paralyzer.
No. I was
I just got sent back to Pickering High School where they'd play a pop song before the first morning bell, and it was it was Finger 11. It was Shania Twain, and it was Avril Lavigne, and those were really the only options.
Wow.
But I stand. Except for Shania Twain, I don't know how I feel about her.
You know what? And I'm happy we're talking about Shania Twain even briefly because it is because I do enjoy Orville Peck, but I am kind of like we're doing a feature with Shania Twain,
and she's supported Trump,
and and you're like a gay, and you're a gay country starlet. It just seems kind of like we're the blind spots that we have, or it just seem a little bit like. And I mean, objectively, I like that song too. That he has with Shania. I wish it wasn't her.
Yeah,
but it's like her voice. It is sickening. But she's a Trump supporter, so that means that you turn into a big stinky diaper. I've been obsessed with poo recently.
Yeah. Ben was like, I'm on my way. I poopy. I was like, okay.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I just want to say I'm thoroughly drunk, and I'm drunk.
As you should be. I was going to say this to you earlier, Abba. I'm so happy that you're having such a good birthday, and I know this is usually a like a New Year's thing, but I think it should be co-opted to birthdays. I think that the way you spend your birthday sets the tone for the rest of your year, and I think that this is a really good way to do it.
Thank you. I really do appreciate that. I'm so happy that we got to talk about Fiona Apple today of all days with AJ, somebody that I admire and love to work with so much. We're supposed to be recording a WAP parody, and truly we've both been so busy. But I'm so excited to work on that. I'm so excited to work with you in the future, AJ, and I'm so appreciative of like your presence in the comedy scene because you do amazing work. Yes. And I think that you've really set a precedent for, the next young like queer Black person who's going to enter the sketch scene, the improv scene, the solo sketch scene. Like you're in history, and you should be so proud of yourself. And I'm so happy that you have such a wealth of knowledge about Fiona Apple that we got to talk about her today. So truly, you are my birthday present today. You're all my birthday present today. This podcast is my cute little birthday present, and I'm very, very happy to be around all of you.
I'm so flattered. I have big plans for everyone in here. I have big plans.
Big plans, yes.
No, I mean, AJ, Abba said it best, but I'm just gonna piggyback just for a stinky little second. Is you're truly just like the AJ solo sketch, improv, hilarious, kind friend, knows so much about movies, music. I say this all the time. One of the hardest things about not doing comedy is like not seeing like my comedy friends, and like AJ was someone who like we would do shows together all the time. We did freaky improv together. AJ in an improv scene. I'll say this: we'll make everybody gay. He'll just decide. Like a whole summer camp full of children, AJ will make gay in an improv scene, and that is why I love him so much. But AJ's so smart, and please YouTube AJ and just watch whatever sketches of Adonis you can find because they're so funny.
And be sure to follow him. All of you are inspiring in the scene. Thank you so much, Becky.
Thank you. I mean, where's the lie? Can't find it. Oh my god! Should we?
That would not be a present from me.
I know. I was gonna say. I was like, no one wants to hear "Birthday Party" sung via a Zoom.
Yeah. The only happy birthday version I can do is like the Marilyn Monroe one, and that's like humiliating in its own way.
Yeah, Tina, very sweet of you. We're gonna have to say no to that one. Just because Abba would. We love you, Tina. No, and thank you everyone in the comments. Really, just giving
this is awesome.
Really great questions. I'm like, you guys are
love you.
They're
I'm
there.
gonna leave you guys with something then, because I want to answer the question you had before about my full astrological chart.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Oh my god, of course.
I made a CoStar account while we were talking.
See, another element of genius to your character.
It's true.
None of us would have known that you were making a CoStar.
Oh, I couldn't tell.
I just have too many hours on StreamYard. I know how to make it a little bit slick.
Okay.
but I am a Scorpio,
Okay.
Mhm.
Leo rising,
Aiden, listening.
That's why we're connected.
so we're connected. Aries moon.
So you're connected to my dad.
Mhm.
You're connected to my
Because
dad.
Because my dad's an Aries.
We talked
I'm like a
telepathically.
big Aries too. Proof astrology is real.
Mhm.
Wait, what about Israel?
No, I said my dad. I said my dad being an Aries is proof that astrology is real. But hey, our Israel app is coming up soon, guys. Stay tuned. Just kidding.
You're on
Oh my god.
But truly,
You said you were gonna get canceled today.
I
This
know
is the-
this is it. This is it.
Yeah.
Israel.
I come
It's
out as an no, never. Sorry, we're not gonna. I'm not gonna entertain an extreme Zionist joke
Yeah.
on Nostalgique. But oh my God, where were we? Right, astrology.
That's interesting that Leo makes so much sense. Scorpio, you feel a lot, but I get it. It's like you feel so much that you have to protect yourself. And Aries, I'm always attracted to Aries energy, so we stand. We really do stand. I am a Virgo sun, Leo moon, rising Pisces.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Wait, that's
So-
such a balanced astrology.
But it makes me a little insane
Weird.
internally. But externally, it looks like nothing's going on. But internally,
Hmm.
girl, I'm insane. Like really and clinically, truly, I am. But
Truly and clinically and truly, I am.
so
I know,
And we wouldn't
I
have it any other way.
Oh my God.
oh, I love you guys.
This is such. I mean, I've been hyping up this app privately
Yeah.
to myself, but also internally amongst us four for so long. Like every time I've seen her talk to H, I'm like, it's gonna be so good.
I know.
And I literally am like, I mean, we need to have like a part 2 because it's like we haven't even finished talking about Fetch the Bolt Cutters. I
Like-
feel like
like
we literally have.
albums. Like we
And there's so
we
much.
truly do. Yeah.
There's so
yeah.
much. Oh my
There's
God.
so much.
Yeah.
But it was a joy. It was
Yeah, I'm like
joy.
literally. I feel like I'm high, which because I did smoke a little bit, so maybe
I was
that's
just gonna say,
maybe that's why. But
Yeah.
before we wrap up, AJ, is there any thoughts, feelings, whatever you wanna say?
Yeah.
We just love you.
Ooh, what do I want to say? I want to say to everyone watching, everyone listening tonight,
Oh my God.
if you have not yet heard Fetch the Bolt Cutters, get a speaker, get your phone, get whatever apparatus you must. Wait till the sun has set and darkness has filled your room.
Oh,
Prepare yourself, get in a quiet room, expel all others from the space. You must be alone. If you have colored lights, turn them on. Set the lights to red. If you have a candle, light the candle. Establish ambiance. Get some charcuterie.
Oh my god.
Have refreshments. And then press play. Find the thickest blanket you own. Cross your arms, lie down under the covers, and just let Fiona Apple take you on a journey to fetch those bolt cutters.
Beautiful.
That was ASMR. I'm going to say now. That was so
that was the
calming.
most beautiful.
Mhm.
I
Oh.
like. Wow.
Those could be Fiona Apple lyrics.
With the seamless.
Ladies.
ladies. Oh,
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, we stand. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning into our live recording of this episode. Thank you so much for everybody who wished me a happy birthday. Thank you so much, AJ, for truly coming with a wealth of knowledge and
Oh my God.
respecting and just speaking on Fiona Apple in a way that nobody else ever could. I really appreciate your opinions tonight. And to Ben and Aiden, I love you too so much.
Stop it. Abba, happy birthday. I love you so much. I mean,
love
you're just
you
one
so
of the most beautiful people.
And Sonar, thank you so much for letting us do this. Bad
Yes.
Dog, thank you so much for letting us do this. You know, Coco, I said I was going to be drunk, and I'm drunk. But yeah,
my
thanks
God.
everyone for tuning in.
Yes, and subscribe to Bad Dog TV on YouTube. Watch High Tea.
Mhm.
And you know what? Follow ABBA and send her money.
Dun, dun,
Send her money.
No, I don't need any more. Don't. You know what? Actually, don't send me money. Send.
Oh, right, your sorry. Yes.
Mocha Dawkins. So I think we're all mutuals with Marissa Rosa Grant, but Marissa is the founder of Strap2, which is, I believe, like it's like a bi lesbian BIPOC, but specifically Black queer event that used to take place. It still takes place online, but it used to take place physically at clubs in like the form of like dance nights and truly like comedy nights. And Mocha Dawkins is a two-spirit Black and Indigenous trans woman who was targeted by the Toronto police because her roommate called the police on her. And she has a GoFundMe that's up. You can find it in my bio, I believe, on Twitter and Instagram. And eventually I'm going to change our Nostalgique bio as well to include the GoFundMe link. But if you could drop like some money, whatever you can give into that fund, it would really help Mocha out because she deserves. We really need to protect trans Black women now more than ever, but always. So please donate to that fund. Don't donate to me. Donate to Mocha Dawkins.
Yeah. No, I was joking about sending alimony for.
Yeah,
Go to Abba's. Go to
Yeah.
Abba. But I mean, if you are like super rich and you could donate to two different things. I mean, but no, truly, and like especially with I feel like as I don't know the past couple of weeks, like the amount of circulation in regards to like GoFundMe's and like bail funds, like I feel like that has kind of slowed down a bit. Donating, even like if like 10 people donate like $5, guess how much that is? That's $50. So it's like even if you're like broke, like listen, I don't have a ton of money. Like you can donate $3. Like
It's
you
true.
can donate 4, you can donate 5, you can donate 10, like 15, 20, like just donate.
Every little bit helps. Yeah, and that
literally
is
every little bit helps.
And that is barely even reparations. That truly is doing the bare minimum. So if you can do a little bit, please do.
Especially if you consume queer culture, like that trans women gave us every morsel of it. So
Truly.
if you even like have snapped your fingers once,
Yeah.
truly.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Bad Dog. Thank you, Sonar. Thank you, friends. Thank you, Fiona Apple. Thank you, AJ.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. See you guys later.